You ever walk into your own home and find a stranger sleeping in your bed? Now imagine it's your lake house, 2 states away. Imagine you haven't given out a single key. And imagine the person renting it out is a woman from your neighborhood HOA, someone who doesn't even own the place but has been charging $250 a night, like it's hers. That's what I walked into. And the moment Karen saw me standing in the doorway, holding my keys, everything fell apart. She had no idea I was coming. She had no idea I'd find out. And she had no clue how badly this was about to backfire. I bought the lake house about 6 years ago, right after my father passed away. He was a fisherman, a quiet man, and when I saw that peaceful 2-bedroom log cabin nestled at the edge of a calm, private lake, it felt like home. My own off-grid sanctuary. I never told many people about it. Heck, even some family members didn't know it existed. It was my escape from the world, from the noise, and especially from my neighborhood's overbearing HOA back in the city. The plan was simple: live in the city, work remotely, and retreat to the cabin on long weekends and holidays. I paid everything up front. No mortgage, no rental, and it was never supposed to be on the market, not even for friends. So imagine my surprise when I started getting strange hints that someone else had been there. First, it was a cracked beer can on the porch that I knew I hadn't left. Then it was an Amazon package at the front door with someone else's name on it. I live alone. No one, and I mean no one, was supposed to be there. It all kicked off one night around 2:15 a.m. I woke up to a ping on my phone. Normally I'd ignore it, but this one was from my smart security system at the lake house, a motion alert from the front porch cam. I opened the app, bleary-eyed and half asleep, expecting maybe a raccoon. But what I saw made my blood go cold. A couple was standing on the porch, luggage in hand. The woman knocked twice and then opened the door with a key. They walked in casually, like it was a hotel suite. I sat up straight in bed, heart pounding. How the hell did they get inside? I rewound the footage. Sure enough, they punched in a code I'd never given to anyone. And the icing on the cake? The man looked back and said, "Not bad for $250 a night." That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. I checked my email messages, even Airbnb and VRBO. Nothing. No bookings. No permissions granted. This wasn't just a mix-up. Someone was using my home, and they were profiting off it. I took the next day off work and went full detective mode. I started by driving up to the lake house, 5 hours straight. While I was on the road, I did some digging. Public rental listings, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and there it was: private lakeside cabin, $250 per night. Secluded and serene, the listing had photos of my actual property, even shots from inside. My private kitchen, my dad's old fishing rods on the wall. Someone had been in there, taken these photos, and posted them under the name K. Daniels. I froze. K. Daniels. Karen Daniels. My nightmare neighbor from the HOA. The one who acted like she owned the whole block back home. She lived 3 houses down from me in the city, always giving citations for non-regulation trash bins or unapproved mailbox height. She wasn't just annoying, she was obsessed with power. And clearly, she had discovered my secret getaway, and now she was using it to run her own shady side hustle. When I arrived at the lake house, the scene looked straight out of a twisted sitcom. There were 2 cars in the gravel driveway. A young couple was sitting on the porch, sipping wine. Music was playing inside. My rocking chair, the one I built with my dad, was moving back and forth. I parked out of view, walked up the path quietly, and opened the front door using my key. The girl inside screamed. The guy jumped like he'd seen a ghost. "Who are you?" he shouted. "I own this house," I said, holding up my phone with the deed. "Who the hell are you?" They were just as confused as I was furious. "We booked this on Airbnb," the woman said, from a Karen Daniels. She said it was her family cabin. I walked them through everything, showed them the smart lock history, the title, the fact that no one but me had ever legally accessed the place. They were shaken, but cooperative. "I'm so sorry," the guy said. "We wouldn't have come if we knew." But I wasn't mad at them. I was mad at her. and she was about to find out just how big of a mistake she'd made. After the couple left, I dug into everything I could. I logged into the Wi-Fi router's history. Someone had logged in under K. Daniels weeks ago. My thermostat had been set to a toasty 74, which I never use. My fridge had food I didn't buy, and there was even a forgotten clipboard in the bedroom closet labeled Rental Schedule, Lake Property. It had dates, check-ins, payments. She'd been doing this for at least 6 months. 6 months of strangers sleeping in my bed. 6 months of her collecting cash for my investment. And when I checked the smart lock settings, Karen had added her own guest code. She was so confident, she didn't even try to hide it. That's when I knew this wasn't just theft. It was full-on fraud. And I was going to bring it crashing down legally, publicly, and permanently. But first, I had to bait the trap. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the porch in the dark with my laptop and a thermos of strong coffee, combing through every trace of Karen's dirty side hustle. Her clipboard had enough damning info to light up a courtroom, full names of guests, phone numbers, even handwritten notes like leave keys under mat for Friday couple and raise rate next month. Every booking lined up perfectly with the lock system history. She'd been running a business, using my property like it was her own private resort. No taxes paid, no permission, no insurance, just pure profit and bold enough to log everything. That clipboard was going straight to my lawyer. I snapped pictures of everything. The schedule, the fridge contents, the Wi-Fi logins, and the worst one, a printed out 5-star review taped to the inside of the pantry. It said, the host was so sweet and responsive. Thanks, Karen, for an unforgettable stay. Sweet and responsive, huh? I started planning my next move. I changed the smart lock code. I updated the alarm system. And then I left a camera in the entryway, pointing right at the front door. I knew Karen would be back soon, either to prep for the next booking or to check on the property. She didn't know yet that I'd been there. That was the key. So I waited. 3 days later, the motion alert hit my phone. There she was, wearing a floral top, sunglasses, and holding 2 grocery bags. Karen walked up the path like she was walking into her own kitchen. I watched her type in the old code and get denied. She tried again, then again. Her smile dropped. She stepped back and looked around, clearly confused. I had a live audio feed through the camera, and I couldn't resist. Looking for something? I said, into the mic. Karen jumped like she'd been tasered. She dropped one of the grocery bags, apples rolling everywhere. She looked up at the camera, mouth wide open. Who's there? She barked. The actual owner of this house? I said, hope you weren't planning on checking in. She looked around again, now visibly sweating. She knew she was caught. She just didn't know how much I already had on her. She tried to play dumb. This is a misunderstanding. I'm managing this property for a friend. Really? Because your name's on the rental site, and I've got receipts for 6 months of management. You want to talk here or in court? Her face turned a shade of red I hadn't seen before. Then she did something wild. She tried to gaslight me. You abandoned this house? She snapped. I found it unlocked one day and figured it was forgotten. I just kept it up, cleaned it, made it useful. I didn't steal anything. You charged people to stay here. No, she shouted, stumbling. They offered to pay. I just let them. The lies kept coming, but I didn't argue. I just let her hang herself with every word. When she realized I wasn't yelling back, she stopped and narrowed her eyes. You set me up, didn't you? I smiled. That camera is recording. You just confessed. So yes, I did. She stared at the lens like it had betrayed her. I didn't slam the door. I didn't raise my voice. I just told her, calm as anything, you've got 10 seconds to get off my property. After that, I call the sheriff. And, oh, by the way, he already knows. She took one shaky step backward, then another. She turned and walked off without saying another word, leaving the spilled groceries behind like a crime scene. But I wasn't done. Because Karen had collected thousands in cash from this scam, I had guest lists, payment logs, messages, and now a recorded confession. It was time to do this by the book. I drove back to the city with a USB full of evidence, a notarized ownership document, and a meeting with my attorney scheduled for Monday morning. I wasn't just going to stop her. I was going to bury her side hustle for good. The lawyer's face lit up like it was Christmas. You have this much evidence already? This isn't just civil trespassing. This could be felony fraud, depending on how she reported income or didn't. And she's on the HOA board too, I added. Oh, this is going to get fun. We filed a cease and desist, a fraud complaint, and a full report to the IRS. I sent formal takedown requests to Airbnb, VRBO, and every platform she'd used. The listing vanished within 48 hours. But the damage to her reputation? That was just beginning. Karen probably thought she could intimidate or talk her way out of this, like she always did back in the neighborhood. The way she ran our HOA board like a personal fiefdom, handing out citations for lawn length and paint color while ignoring the rules when it suited her. But this time, she didn't have control. And she definitely didn't have a vote. Word got out fast. The cease and desist I filed wasn't just legal, it was loud. I made sure the HOA board got a copy. So did her husband, who seemed very unaware of what Karen had been doing. By the end of that week, I was getting texts from neighbors I barely knew. Dude, is it true Karen was renting your house? I thought she was going on retreats every month. That was your place? She said it was her family's land. People were starting to question everything she'd ever said. And I didn't have to say much, the facts spoke for themselves. But Karen? She doubled down. Instead of apologizing or laying low, she tried to flip the narrative. She went on the HOA community app and posted some dramatic message. Some people are trying to sabotage my life and business out of jealousy. I've worked hard to create peaceful spaces for others. We shouldn't let envy destroy generosity. She even quoted scripture. Unbelievable. But here's the thing. Karen had no idea I had one more card play. Because one of the guests she rented to, he turned out to be a real estate vlogger, someone with a decently sized YouTube channel. And when I reached out and explained the full story, he was shocked. She said it was her second home, he told me. She let us film inside, gave us a whole walkthrough. I asked him politely if he'd be okay clarifying that in a video update. He agreed. 2 days later, a new video dropped. We were scammed by a fake lake house host, full story plus real owner interview. It went semi-viral. The comments were brutal. Karen's name was in the title. Her face was blurred, but everyone recognized her anyway. The fallout was instant. HOA members demanded an emergency meeting. People started questioning her finances. The neighborhood Facebook group exploded with screenshots, rumors, and angry threads. Still, Karen tried to act like it was all a witch hunt. People are out to get me. It was just a mistake. She said I could use it. She never said who she was. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. My lawyer was already preparing the next round, small claims for property damages, cleaning fees, and misused utilities. We tallied everything. Between stolen rental income, wear and tear, and legal costs, the claim came out to over $14,000. We filed it that week. The day she got served, I happened to be watering my front lawn. She saw me, clutched the papers like they were radioactive, and stormed across the street. You think you can ruin me? She hissed. No, I said calmly. You did that all by yourself. She stood there, seething, her voice shaking. You don't know who I know. I can still fix this. Then why are you yelling on my lawn? I asked. She went silent. Her hands dropped to her sides, still gripping the envelope. She turned and walked away without another word. That was the last time she spoke to me face to face. But that wasn't the end of it. Not even close. Because just when I thought it couldn't get crazier, the IRS called. The IRS call came on a Wednesday. I was at work, halfway through a cup of reheated coffee, when my phone buzzed. The voice on the other end was calm, professional, and surprisingly friendly for a federal agent. Hi, this is Agent Collins with the IRS. We're currently reviewing an anonymous tip regarding unreported rental income linked to a Ms. Karen Daniels. We understand you may be able to verify some details. I nearly choked on my coffee. Turns out, someone else had tipped them off too, and with all the documentation I'd gathered, they now had a mountain of evidence pointing to 6 months of undeclared income, fraudulent listings, and possibly even identity misuse, depending on what she submitted to rental sites. I emailed them everything: the screenshots, video clips, lock logs, guest statements, and of course, Karen's clipboard of doom. A month later, she vanished from the HOA board. No goodbye post, no dramatic meltdown, just gone. Rumors flew. Some said she'd been fined. Others said she got hit with back taxes. One guy even claimed her husband moved out temporarily. I never confirmed any of it, and honestly, I didn't care. I got my lake house back. I changed the locks. I deep cleaned every surface, replaced the sheets, even burned sage, just for the hell of it. I took a long weekend to myself out there, just fishing, grilling, and sitting on the porch my dad helped build. It finally felt like mine again. And Karen? Well, last I heard, she was trying to sell handmade essential oils from a booth at the local farmer's market. No more fake retreats. No more five-star fraud. And the best part? I didn't have to scream. I didn't have to stoop. I just let her bury herself, one rental at a time. If you enjoyed this wild ride of HOA insanity and satisfying revenge, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping true stories, and drop a comment telling me what you would have done if you found out Karen was renting out your house. Because in this neighborhood, revenge is always lakefront.